Alright, good evening everyone, and welcome to the Broken Sword, the Shadow of the Templars walkthrough and review. This is episode 9. And I said good evening, obviously, because it's evening here now, but you could be watching this video anytime. Anyways, for those who have been paying attention and want to watch from the get-go don't want to watch from the get-go and want to watch from this episode 9, which is really weird, but anyways, in that case, I'll do the quick review. It's become a staple of this show now. So, let me see. My mic sounded a little bit weird. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just insane. Anyways, so we're playing a young American, George Stobart. He was a young American, David Bowie style. He traveled in Paris during the end of the millennium, late 90s, and during fall. And he was at a cafe, and it blew up. And the reason why was because this clown showed up with an accordion, not a harmonica, that blew up. And before that, he stole a briefcase from this guy called Plantard. And George was like pissed off, and he was like, "No, okay, after this clown, I'm gonna get him." He almost blew me up, and teams up with a freelance photojournalist, Nico Collard, and they go on this journey to try to catch this killer. But what ends up happening is when they find a manuscript that he had at his hotel safe, they find out it's a much bigger and thicker plot. We're actually dealing with the Knights Templar, the Neo-Templars, and this manuscript is leading them to a certain treasure, the Sword of Baphomet. Whatever, the broken sword, basically the name of the game. And this manuscript has led them to it's basically taken them to Ireland, where they found a gem there, and then the tripod at the Museum Croon that they stole. By the way, Nico did that. Those things were in the manuscript. There was also a knight in the manuscript. We've had help from Lobineau, the really obnoxious historian that is a friend of Nico's, and he's like all over. He's like, I think he's all horned up about Nico and the manuscript. And that guy has helped us, though. He identified the knight in the manuscript, who was a Spanish knight, and we went to Spain, and we actually found a chalice there that had been hidden away. And then we finally went to Montfaucon, which is where there was a clue about that place in Ireland at the Lochmarn Castle, where Peacram found the gem. And at that place, down in the sewers, there was this secret meeting of the Neo-Templars, and they were surrounded by they were surrounding this stone stub, like in the middle, and that stub had 3 holes in it where you can place the tripod and the gem on top of it, and then the gem lit up the circle, and it spelled out the words M-I-R-I-B, M-A-R-I-B, yes, Marib. And so we find out Marib is a village in Syria, and they were talking about a guy named, what was his name? Klausner, who was on a wild goose chase in Syria. That guy is supposed to look for a lens there and more clues about the Sword of Baphomet. And so we had the name now of the town in Syria, and we know about this Klausner guy and a possible lens and a lead on this Sword of Baphomet thing. So obviously in the last episode, all these clues told us to go to Syria, and we went to Syria. And I did it in the order where you can do in the original game, you can do Spain first and then Syria, but in the director's cut, you can only do Syria first and then Spain after that. So I wanted to show, for those who have only played maybe the director's cut, you've never seen it done this way. So, anyways, in Marib, what ended up happening there is we went to the Club Alamut, where we used the matchbox that Khan left at his hotel at Hotel Lobineau, and we found this club in Marib, Club Malamud, and there was a taxi driver there, Ultar, and we started talking to him and showed him a picture of Khan. And the guy was like, "Yeah, this guy was here yesterday." And we were like, "My God, he's so close!" And he was like asking questions. He was asking about American named Stoppy, and then George said, "Stobart?" Ah, yes, that's what I say, Stobart. So the killer knew George's name, and then he was asking about a German named Kloppy or something, Klopner. And then George remembered it was Klausner. Right? Was the name of the man Klausner? That is what I said. Like Peter Sellers in Pink Panther movies. That is what I said, you fool. But yeah, and then he told him, yeah, that guy wanted to go to Bull's Head. Excuse me, what? Bull's Head. And all of a sudden, the bull in the manuscript made perfect sense. It was a reference to this place, the Bull's Head Hill. So we eventually got there. We had to sell a fake ancient statue to American couple to get some money for the taxi. But eventually we went there, and once we were at the Bull's Head Hill, we were able to find the secret access into some cave there, artificially made by the Templars, obviously. And once inside the cave, we found Klausner, and he was there, dead, most likely starvation or dehydration. And but when we found him, the door shut, and we were stuck in this cave. And I was like, oh, okay, I have a bad feeling of how Klausner died, and so it looked like George might end up going through, end up being stuck there as well. But it was kind of a lucky break that we were rescued by the guy who was actually going to kill us, Khan. He opened the cave as we shouted, Ultar. We thought it was Ultar. Don't come in, stay where you are. And then we went out and saw it was Khan. Khan took us out with, obviously, he pointed a gun at us, so again with the we talk. But yeah, so we decided to be the honest George and told him everything. Like we said, okay, we were in there, and Klausner is in there, he's dead. We found a lens on him, which is, it makes sense now, it's not a crystal ball in the manuscript, the knight is holding a lens, and we have the lens. And then we saw the map. Oh yeah, there was a statue of the three hideous faces. That's the statue that's reflecting. That's the reflection in the mirror, in the manuscript. The old woman looking at a reflection in the mirror, and it has three hideous faces. And then there's a map to the edge of the world, west to the edge of the world, and he can't recognize it as Julius Caesar's word. Those were those three important things we found in the cave: the lens, that statue with the three hideous faces, like that's in the manuscript, and then that map of an island, and it's Caesar's word to west, to the edge of the end of the world, basically, yeah, to the west. I messed it up already. It's you get the point. We'll probably talk about it later. But we escaped. Khan was so he sort of said because we were so honest. We were honest George. He wanted to shake our hand, but we had the buzzer back in our hand from the costume store in Paris, and then we were able to buzz his hand, punch him in the face, and then dive off the cave. And then landed in the Ultra's taxi, and we escaped. We're back in Paris, and then Nico was glad we were back, and it seems like there's some chemistry between George and Nico now for me, and better than Lobineau. Jesus Christ! So we're back in Paris, and now it's now what? Now we have a chalice from Spain. We have a lens from Syria. We have found a statue with three hideous faces. We saw a map with the weird, with the quotation from, the quote from Julius Caesar. What could it all mean? Well, let's continue. Restore JLR Podcast Network. We're outside Nico's apartment, but let's get to the main map. I feel like my voice sounds different. I didn't have a cold the other day, but I'm wondering if the mic is in a weird condition, or is it maybe just my voice? Maybe it's just my voice. I have no idea. All right. So here we are, the map of Paris. Now you're thinking to yourself, where could we go next? Well, when we went to Montfaucon, we only went through the sewers. We haven't even entered the building, which is the big church. The gendarme is back, which means that if the gendarme is back, we're not able to get to the sewers again, because there's no juggler to get rid of, and he will just stay there at the cafe. Do we talk to him? Not. Why bother? Let's see now. So this building here. Let's look
In
at it.
French, English, and German, it read, "In 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the knightly order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine."
So we have already heard that before from guys like Lobineau. Nico also told us about it at the beginning. So, and this is the gruesome side of where everyone was killed, where they were executed, the Templars. So let's get inside this. Let's go inside this nice church. It's quite a big church. Are these the benches here?
A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing
Pews?
with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies. Whoa!
George is just ridiculous. He's imagining young, sexy women sitting on their nice behind on these benches. Okay, there's a priest
A
here?
priest stood by the pews, energetically polishing something.
All right. Shall we talk to the priest? Sure, why not? Maybe we can get some information from the priest.
Excuse me, Father.
Pardon?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all, monsieur. It will be my pleasure to help you.
All right. We can ask about the Templars.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest. Many of them were executed in the square outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of mammon, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
Interesting. What about the priest himself?
How long have you worked here?
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert for nearly 6 months now.
I see. We can ask more about it.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church, then.
Just a little.
Just a little? Well, tell us more.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah oui, anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that.
Interesting. So we can just ask about the items now. Shall we ask about Khan? Has Khan showed up at Montfaucon?
Have you seen this man before?
No, I have never seen him before.
Never seen him. Does he know the name Merlin?
Have you ever heard of this guy?
No, monsieur, I'm afraid not. Is he a friend?
Not really. More of an acquaintance.
What about the lens? Does he know anything about the lens?
Have you ever seen anything like this lens?
No, never. The glass seems subtly colored in some way.
Yeah, I've never noticed that before.
Interesting color of it. All right. The chalice? Does he know anything about the chalice?
What do you make of this chalice?
Oh, he's showing the chalice.
It certainly looks very old.
About as old as this church, I think.
There seems to be an engraving on it.
Yeah? What does it say?
I do not know, it is very tarnished. With your permission, I could try polishing it. I promise I will be very careful.
Oh, he wants to polish our chalice. So, sure, why not? Get it clean.
That'd be very good of you.
All right.
This shouldn't take very long. Feel free to look around.
Oh. Thanks. That's very nice of him.
Okay, thanks.
So he's now polishing the chalice, and he told us to take a look around. Okay, what do we have to look at? Let's go over here. Here in the middle of the hall is a statue of a knight.
A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll.
Holding a staff and a scroll.
The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well.
What's this scroll here?
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell.
Could this be the knight? The scholar knight in the manuscript? What happens if we try to look like... Well, let's try to do something with his scroll. It's in its hand, in the statue's hand. Jesus.
Per disciplinum meum lux videbis.
Wow.
A bit of a stained glass window. Wow.
So we were able to see the bit of a stained glass
Hoping for a
window.
big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
Let's look at the let's look at the glass a little bit.
A huge stained glass window formed a magnificent centerpiece for its neighbors. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout.
Not a beauty school dropout. That's Greece. What's here on the floor?
Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
It's probably a knight.
A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling.
What about there?
A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4.
Okay, so there are a bunch of knights here, for sure. And let's see. Could it be that we could use this lens on this manuscript? He's holding some sort of a scroll here. Maybe you can put it through the scroll and look at the stained glass again. All right, at the end of the scroll.
The lens fitted into the end of the scroll like a hand into a glove.
Okay, so it was meant to be there. And if we look now.
Hey! A Knight Templar burning at the stake. And a date.
Knight Templar.
Let me see. MCCC That's 1314.
1314. 1314. What could that mean? The man burning has to be Jacques de Molay, right? The last Grand Master. But the date, 1314. So the lance is not just stuck in there, I suppose, in the script.
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much.
Oh,
A scholar.
that's basically the same. Okay, so the lance, that part is over with the lance. We found out it was supposed to be stuck in the scroll of that knight, and then look through. We should look at the stained glass and see the burning temple. Let's ask the priest about it a little bit.
Hello again, Father. Hey, thanks.
Wow, it looks very shiny now.
It is my pleasure, monsieur.
What was the writing on the chalice?
It was not writing, my mistake. It was a coat of arms.
Coat of arms.
The remarkable thing is that it seems very familiar.
Yeah?
Aha.
Oui, I think I have seen it on that wall tomb in the far corner. That winged horse is quite distinctive.
Could it be the actual knight? We can ask about the chalice again.
Boy, what a shine you got on this.
Merci. It is all in the wrist action.
We can ask about the stained glass, about the burning man.
Did you know that the center window conceals an image of a man burning at the stake?
The burning man?
What, you knew?
That there was a hidden image? No. But the church has a reputation for being haunted. Many times people have claimed to have seen a burning man in the window. But when others they look, there is nothing. Perhaps the light has to be just so for the figure to appear.
Yeah, or maybe you need a special lens.
We had that special lens. We can still ask about it.
You must be proud to have such an incredible collection of stained glass.
Pride is a sin, monsieur, but it is hard not to marvel when the light shines through them. It is a fine example of the artisan's genius.
Interesting.
Catch you later.
All right.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Thank you, Father, but we have to check that tomb then. That's in the far corner. If it's the same coat of arms, could it be that's where the knight is? The last of the De Vasconcelos?
Now that my attention had been drawn to it, there was no mistake. There was no name on it. But the coat of arms was undeniably the Pegasus of the De Vasconcelos family. I'd found the last resting place of Don Carlos. My eye was drawn to the biblical references carved into the edge of the tomb. Hey, maybe these biblical references mean something. Psalms 32:7, John 4:11, Corinthians 1:4-5, and just one more, Psalms 22:21. I may not be perfect, but I've got a memory like a steel trap. The chalice had led me to these inscriptions, but it looked like a happy coincidence to me. After all, the De Vasconcelos arms were already on the manuscript. Nope, I was still convinced that the chalice had some significance all of its own.
So George still thinks there's something else we need to do with the chalice. But we sure found the knight. We can tell the Countess in Spain that, but I'm not sure we can go to Spain yet. We still need to do something with the chalice before we can return it to Spain. And what could that be? This is so much information we just got there. We have this image of a burning man and a date, 1314. We found the last night, and there were these psalms from the Bible, biblical psalms. And then, the chalice, like, we still haven't really used it. It's been cleaned up, but polished, but there's so much, and then all the things, other things that we found in Marib, the statue and everything. We need to, I'm sorry to say, visit André Lobineau at the Museum. I hope he doesn't spew some perverted thoughts to us. Alright, there he is. Let's talk to him. Is there anything he can help us with?
Hi, André.
Hello, Georgie. Where have you been? Nicole said you were away.
I just returned from Syria.
Syria? On the trail of the Templars?
It's a long story, but I found the bull's head. It was referred to on the manuscript, remember?
Yes, what is it?
A secret cave built into a high cliff face. In the cave, I discovered a map bearing a phrase in Latin. In occidenta sita est in ora mundi.
The island of Britain.
Lies at the edge of the world to the west.
Strange. That map seems to contain a series of pointers.
Like I said, it's a treasure map.
So we talked about the map we found in the cave, and he's saying the Isle of Britain. So Caesar was talking about Britain. Okay, so something to do with Britain then. But we can ask about the statue with the three hideous faces that we saw also in Syria. Let's ask about it.
While I was in Syria, I discovered a strange pagan statue. It was like a head with three bearded faces. Horrible.
That sounds as if it could be Baphomet, the idol described by the Templars.
The poor Knights of Christ had an idol that looked like that?
Allegedly. The description of the idol came from the evidence extracted by the Inquisition. Mind you, not one statue or idol was ever found on Templar property. Until now, that is. Just last month, a statue of Baphomet was unearthed right here in Paris.
Where?
At the Institut Hermétique de Nerval. The statue is beneath the foundations. It was discovered by some workmen while renovating the building.
Interesting. Let's ask more about it.
Can you tell me any more about the statue of Baphomet?
It's a fearful image, even now, a bearded head. The base of the statue is carved with Templar symbols. One of the workmen noticed a curious stain at the base. He claimed it looked like blood.
Blood?
That's right.
That's scary. All right. Shall we show him the new the chalice that's been polished?
What do you make of this cup, Andre?
It's a 14th century communion vessel. Spanish, probably.
You sure know your onions.
You knew it all the way. All right, well, let's leave then.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
So a statue was discovered in Paris of Baphomet. So similar to the one in Syria then. Well, doesn't that mean, isn't that obvious then where we have to go now? Let's check it out. George is leaving the scene and we're heading to a place where we could possibly find the site of Baphomet. So let's go there. All right, so we're at this nice building here. It's, let's see, there's a painter here in front of the gate, and he's smoking. Let's look
The
at him.
painter didn't seem to regard the painting as too important. Not as important as a cigarette break, anyway.
What is this?
The gate was surrounded by some pretty fancy ironwork.
It's an interesting building, but a high gates here. And then there's an entrance that leads down, probably to a basement. Well, he did say it was at the base level, I suppose. The statue was found under the foundation. Shall we talk to this painter? What's this next to him?
The painter had a pot of gunmetal gray primer hanging from the barrier.
Gunmetal prime. Okay, let's talk to the painter.
Excuse me, could you help me?
What is it?
I've got a few questions.
Let's ask him about the Templars.
What does the word Templar suggest to you?
Templar?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. What about the painter?
You're doing a fine job.
Merci. I have my professional pride.
I don't think I've ever seen a Gauloise smoked so stylishly.
It's a natural talent.
I'm being sarcastic.
I'm being indifferent.
You're very good at that as well.
Merci. Vive l'indifférence.
We're indifferent. Good gag. Again.
So, what are you doing here?
I am having my break.
Yeah, I mean, when you finish your break.
When I finish my break, an interesting concept, monsieur.
You'll probably need to think about it.
I could have another cigarette while I consider. Perhaps tomorrow too?
Let's ask more about him.
Okay, let me put things differently. What were you hired to do here?
I was hired to keep the archaeological dig in the basement of this building clear of debris, and to touch up damage to the door frames with my little pot of paint. It's a very responsible job. Unfortunately, I'm not a very responsible person.
He's just like taking the... I love he's just taking his time smoking that cigarette and then, saying he's not being responsible. Let's ask about the dig. That's an option now.
So what do you know about the excavation?
The
I
excavation.
know they won't let me in to do my job. I would complain to my union, but là.
You couldn't be bothered to join.
Right. Tell you what, though. I'm surprised at the sort of people interested in this excavation.
The sort of people? What do you mean by that? Let's ask about it.
What's unusual about the visitors to the excavation?
None of them look like archaeologists to me.
Do you know what an archaeologist looks like?
Three-piece suits, crocodile-eyed attaché cases, Rolex oyster.
But no archaeologist dresses like that.
Quite right, monsieur, quite right.
So, who are they?
Who cares as long as they pay me?
High-class people who could be high-class and interested in something that related to the Templars. Neo-Templars, maybe. Let's ask, has he seen Khan?
Have you seen this man before?
Yes, he asked me a lot of questions, just like you.
Jesus! Khan was here? Are you sure? Let's ask again.
Have you seen this man before?
Yes.
Okay, so he was here and he asked a lot of questions. Okay. Yikes. What about the chalice?
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Yes, it's a communion chalice. I know, you know, I used to be an altar boy.
You?
Yes, me. What's so funny about that?
Nothing.
What about Merlin? Did you hear him?
Has a guy calling himself Merlin been nosing around?
Was he wearing a t-shirt with "My name is Merlin" on it?
I doubt it.
Then how the hell am I supposed to know his name just by looking at him? Huh?
All right. Okay. That's it. We have nothing
Be
else to
seeing
say.
you.
Au revoir, monsieur.
All right. So Khan was here asking questions, and then weird people went in there. Let's go inside. Let's just find out what's inside there. Okay, so we're inside this building here. It's definitely a basement here with a what is this? The heater? What is this?
A thermostat was mounted over a radiator.
A radiator.
The radiator was pumping out heat as the thermostat was cranked right over to full. No wonder it was warm in here, even with the door open to the chill of fall.
So it's really warm inside here. Okay, what's this?
The doorway was full of assorted old tea chests, cardboard boxes, and so on, all empty and all uninteresting.
It's a doorway that we cannot access. There's a security guard here.
A guard stood by a door I guessed led to the excavation. He looked
Okay.
pretty pompous. Well, not so much pretty, just pompous.
A pompous-looking security guard. He's standing in front of a door.
That guard had been put here to guard something.
Yeah.
My guess was that the excavation was behind that door.
Interesting. What else is here? There's a door from the other side. What could it be?
There was a closed door with toilet scratched
Oh.
into the cheap veneer.
All right. Toilet, bathroom, restroom, whatever. And then a phone, right?
There was a telephone on the far wall.
All right. It will probably come in handy if we need to call Nico or something. We cannot access the door, I think. We have to talk to the security guard first, right?
Hi? Excuse me?
Oui?
Oui. Shall we ask about the Templars?
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
There was a long pause during which the guard said nothing. Then he said,
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
Is this a test?
What, like a history pop test?
No, like a test.
Okay, yes, it's a test.
Then I know absolutely nothing about the Templars.
Weird. Let's ask about the Templars again.
The guard was being amazingly evasive. It was going to take more than goodwill to get past him.
That was not actually a question. It was just George thinking to himself, but it came up as an option to talk to the guy. Okay, very evasive. Okay, let's ask about the guard himself.
So, what exactly are you doing here?
I'm guarding. You expect to find me shearing sheep?
Take it easy. I just didn't realize you were a guard.
Why shearing sheep? That's such a weird comment. Let's ask him again.
I'd like to know what you're guarding, please.
That's a secret.
It wouldn't happen to be an archaeological site, would it?
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm telling you.
Then why ask?
I had a feeling this was no normal hole in the ground.
That is true. Let's ask about the radiator.
It sure is hot in here.
I have to have the door open to allow the workmen access, so why not? I turn the heat up.
You could wrap up warm.
I have my gloves if it gets cold, but why bother when it's warm anyway?
But why bother when it's warm anyway? Okay. But he told us he has gloves. Shall we show him a picture of Khan?
Have you seen this man before? You have?
No.
His reaction, he's definitely seen him. The guy upstairs the painter said he's seen him. Let's show him a picture again.
Have you seen this man before?
Same
You
reaction.
have?
Okay.
No.
Nothing else. What about Merlin? The name?
Do you recognize this name?
Merlin. No.
Maybe he didn't use the name Merlin when he was there. Do we show him the chalice? Is that a good idea?
I thought better of showing him the chalice. He might be on the conspiracy's payroll, and I didn't want to risk it.
Oui. You have...
A sudden urge to sing. Care to join me?
No. No singing in here.
Well played, George. So he was almost going to show the chalice, but he figured he's with the conspiracy, so with the Neo-Templars. All right.
Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
We're getting nothing out of this guy here. He won't budge. Shall we go to the bathroom then?
There was a closed door with toilet scratched into the cheap veneer.
That door's locked, monsieur.
Oh, he told us it was locked. Can we ask him about the bathroom, maybe?
Hi again.
What
the
is it?
restroom, as we say. Oh, yes. Let's see.
Trying to get into a locked washroom. I had the strongest feeling of deja vu.
Yeah, we did that
I'd
in
like
Syria.
to use the washroom, but the door's locked.
Oh, that's no problem. You can have the key.
Thanks.
Water closet, WC. He gave us the key. All right, thank you.
Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
All right. So probably, let's look at the keys a little bit.
On the key ring was a big old key that looked like it might fit the excavation door.
It seems like we have the key, but how are we going to get that key? How are we going to get the security guard away? And how are we going to get the key off that key ring? And then how are we going to... How are we going to access that? Okay, let's just go into the bathroom first. The washroom. The water closet. All right. There's a huge... Is everything
The
heated?
thing felt really hot. Big demands seemed to be being made on it.
Big demand. Wow, it's filled with coal, right?
There was a big old boiler used for heating the building.
And all this coal...
A huge pile of coal lay in the corner to fuel the boiler. Real high-tech stuff.
Is it? Not to me. I'm from a country where we all have geothermal energy. Never mind. It's a really bad joke.
Being in a charming comfort station like this made me think fondly of the toilet in Syria. That place was kept in pretty good order. At least, it had been until I vandalized it. Still, it was all for a good cause.
That is true. We did take the chain off, and we don't have the chain anymore. So that was completely unnecessary. Is there anything here in this trash can?
I wasn't that interested in what might go into a restroom's garbage to investigate.
What do we have here?
A hand dryer was mounted on the wall. If the Club Alamet had used one of these instead of a roller towel, I'd probably still be stuck in Marib.
Good observation. Can we use it? Yeah. Works pretty well. So, we're getting heat from there. The faucet is dripping. Let's look at it.
A filthy wash basin hung on the wall.
Let's look at it.
The taps were rusty. Oh, boy!
Rusty taps.
The
Turn
cold
on.
taps washer looked to have failed. It was just dribbling down the sink.
And what's this?
Oh, boy! Dirty soap! How do they do that?
So we'll take the soap then? Interesting. We have the soap now.
It was the bar of soap I'd stolen from the washroom of the excavation site.
Is there something... So we need the key. So we make a fake key? Is that possible if we just imprint the key in the soap? Yes, we can. All right.
I made an impression of the big key in the cake of soap.
So how do we make the fake key? What possibly could we use this time? Well, we have made things before. Remember this one?
It was a handful of plaster left in the castle by Pegram's archaeology team.
We still have plaster of Paris. Let's fill it up. There we go.
I carefully sprinkled the plaster into the soap mold I'd made of the key.
Nice. So now we just need to put some water on it. So let's see. And we use the dryer. Let's dry it a little bit. Several minutes later. I hope the security guard is not suspicious of our long bathroom break.
Well, it had taken a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I had made myself a completely unconvincing plaster key. Way too fragile to use in a lock. I'd have to substitute it for the real one. Trouble was, it looked like plaster, and not metal. Then again, that plaster statue in Syria hadn't looked like stone until I'd been a bit artful with it. Maybe I could improve the key as well.
Artful, as in like painting. I think it's time to go upstairs. Let's leave the room. I'm guessing we will not be able to leave. We cannot go outside without giving the key back. So let's just give him the keys back.
What is it?
Here's the keys. Thanks.
Merci, monsieur.
And let's see if we can't use some paint upstairs for the key. Could help us out. Could fool the security guard that this is the real key. Let's see if we can use the paint pot.
Hey, monsieur! Get away from my paint pot!
Okay.
I should think so. Meddling with a man's paint pot. Pah!
He yelled at us. He won't allow us to use the paint pot. Shall we talk to him?
Hi, it's me again.
What now?
We can. Shall we show him the key?
I made this key out of plaster.
How thrilling! How clever! How pointless.
Well, no
Be
interest.
seeing you.
Au revoir, monsieur.
The guy has no interest in helping us with the. Well, he's not going to borrow us paint or anything. What do we do then? Let's go downstairs and think. There's this guy there. We need to get the pot, obviously. We need to get some paint, and the guy won't let us use the paint. So not only do we need to get rid of the security guard later, when we have the real key, but we also have to get rid of this painter now if we want to use the pot. I think it is time to use the phone and call Nico.
Do you mind if I use the phone?
Be my guest. I'm paid to guard this door. The phone can look after itself.
The phone? That was completely...
Killer!
Hi, Nico. It's me. I'm at the excavation site.
Hi, Georges. What's happening?
I'm at the excavation, but they won't let me in.
You just said it.
We need to know what's in there.
Don't worry. I've got a scheme. I'm going to need your help, though.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
I want you to keep somebody on the phone for a while.
Who?
A painter. I need to get at his pot.
Oh, okay.
Stay on the line. I'll go and get him.
Interesting. All right. So we have now Nico on the phone, ready to talk to this painter. Let's get straight to... Go upstairs here again, outside. Talk to the painter, tell him Nico is on the phone downstairs. You should
Hi,
definitely
it's me
go
again.
and talk to her.
What now?
You've got a phone call.
You
For
got a
me?
phone?
Are you certain?
It's a woman. She sounded hot.
What woman? She must be mistaken, monsieur.
Well, she asked for that hunk of a man with the nicotine fingers and his ass hanging out of his pants.
Certainly sounds like me. Stand back. It wouldn't do to keep the lady from her hunk.
And there he goes. He's on his way down to the basement level, and we are free to use the pot. Let's coat that key with the metal paint. Let's look at the key now.
The plaster key had soaked up the paint nicely, and now looked pretty convincing. Still felt like plaster, though.
Felt like plaster. Okay. So if we touch it, it feels like plaster, but it sure looks like a normal iron key, or steel key, or whatever it is. Oh, the guy is... We went downstairs, and the guy is on the phone.
Well, monsieur, what a strange woman.
Just hung up.
She
the
was
phone.
all over me, and then suddenly, nothing but abuse.
Really?
Why, abuse? Ah, well,
Abuse.
I have a cigarette to finish. And monsieur, if she calls again, I am not available.
Okay. He will not talk to her again. She was all over me, but then nothing but abuse. I wonder what Nico said to that painter. All right, so we have the key, but we need to get it on the key ring and get the real key off, which means we're gonna have to use the bathroom again. So let's talk to the security guy.
Hi again.
What is it?
And you need to use the bathroom again, sorry.
I need to use the toilet again.
Toilet.
Again? Already?
I have this problem. How technical do you want me to get?
Never mind. Here's the key.
How technical do you want me to get?
Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
All right, but he's being very understanding. If we have an actual problem, then it would be good to have a security guy like this. But then again, he's not seeing something weird about George going back to the bathroom that soon. So okay, now we're back in the water closet. It's not really a closet; it's pretty big though. Let's see now. We have the fake key and we have the key ring. So shall we do the switcheroo?
Quickly and without fuss, I swapped the fake key for the real thing.
All right. So we have switched keys. No, so this is the real one.
It was the key to the excavation.
Yes. Now we have the real key and the fake key is on the key ring. So let's go outside again. Let's go out to the corridor again. And there's a security guard, but there's a problem. It still felt like plaster, right? If we try to give them the key ring now, what happens? Key ring.
What is it?
I couldn't give him the keys. The false key looked pretty convincing, but it felt exactly like what it was. Painted plaster. He was bound to detect it.
Let's not do that then. He did say, though, he has gloves. So if it gets cold, then he might put the gloves on. So let's see what we can do about this radiator.
I turned the heating off.
Turn the heating off. What happens then? Oh, the security guard. He's blowing on his hands. Must have felt cold. Put on white gloves. Let's look at him.
A guard stood by a door I guessed led to the excavation.
Oh.
He looked pretty pompous.
It's just the same as before. But now he has white gloves on. That means he might not feel
Hi
the
again.
plaster.
What is it?
Let's see. Here are the keys.
I held my breath and hoped that he wouldn't notice the substitution. Here's the keys. Thanks.
Merci, monsieur.
Okay. He didn't notice it. Whew. All right.
Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Now, how do we get rid of him if we want to use the door? I need to save just to... I don't think we can die here, but just in case, let's save here. All right. So we're still in this basement area. And we have the real key now, but the security guard is still standing there. How are we going to get him out of there? Because we cannot just use the key on the door like this.
I couldn't get to the door while the guard was there.
So, let's call Nico again. Nico, you gotta help us. Now we have to get rid of another guy.
Hi, Nico. It's me again.
I'd guessed. What do you want this time?
What did you say to the painter?
I shan't repeat it, George.
Look, I need to get the guard out of the way. Could you call back and ask him to get the painter again?
Okay, I'll call back soon.
Thanks, Nico. You're really helping us now. There. Oh, and there. The phone is ringing and the security guy is talking on the phone. Talking to Nico. George is heading outside. And he's going to observe these guys.
This looked like a good place to watch things develop.
Good point. He's gonna watch the security guard now going up to the painter.
Hey, you! It's the phone.
Yeah?
The fit.
Who is it?
How should I know? What am I, your social secretary?
It's not a chick, is it?
Yes, it's a woman. Are you going to answer it?
Does she have a warm, sensual voice like molten chocolate?
Yes, she has a really sexy voice. Now get a move on.
I'm not talking to her.
I can see that. You're wasting time talking to me.
No, you don't understand. I refuse to talk to her.
You refuse. You refuse. I'm wasting valuable time.
Don't make me laugh. Your time valuable? Just stand around all day.
I have a highly responsible job. Ha! Don't me, you elephantine oaf. My job is important.
Impossible. They would have hired somebody competent in that case.
Meaning what?
Instead of which they hired a dismal rent-a-cop like you. All epaulettes and no brains.
Why, you...
This looked set to carry on for some time. It was too good an opportunity to miss.
Yeah, get out of there, George. They're gonna fight probably about who's who's more important. It's not really a good image for the French work life that one is really lazy and one seems to be really incompetent. Anyways, he's no longer there. We can easily now open the door and just get inside and see what this excavation is all about. All right, so this room, okay, it's a mess, but there is something here on the floor. We can take go down this ladder here. There's a skull here. Let's look. George is now walking down the ladder.
Oh, great. More dead people. Although the gendarmes weren't likely to pull in any suspects unless they had a time machine. This guy must have been here for centuries.
So, a bone. Someone's buried here alive, maybe. No, maybe not alive, but might be someone from the time of the Templars. So, there's something here on the floor. Oh, obviously, first, here's the statue, right?
Now there's a familiar face.
Let's look at it.
There was no doubt about it. It was the same sort of idol I'd seen in Syria, Baphomet. The Templars had certainly been through here.
So why would there be a Baphomet idol here as well? And what's this on the floor?
In the middle of the floor was a weird mosaic, all swirling and distorted.
Distorted mosaic. What could it mean? Let's look at it closer.
Close up, the pattern didn't make any sort of sense. It fanned out around an axis point, a kind of focus to one side.
Focus to one side. So there's so the mosaic might focus at one axis point. If it's, well, what could be, I guess, what could be reflected from the mosaic?
It was hard to believe it was the same chalice. Now the light gleamed off its perfect surface.
The light gleamed. Well, if the light gleams, what about the mosaic? It sure looks like it's that axis point, circular axis point. Sure looks like it's been made for the chalice. Shall we put it there? Yes, indeed. And there goes the chalice.
And there it was, decoded by the curves of the chalice. The image of a church.
Image of the church. Back at Nico's apartment, so we're done at the excavation site, and we're back at...
I found out what the chalice was for.
You solved the puzzle?
Yeah, there was a distorted picture at the Baphomet site. When I viewed it in the polished surface of the chalice, it changed.
What did it show?
A picture of a church with a square tower.
Interesting. Shall we ask more about the... Shall we show her the chalice that's been polished?
Look at the chalice now, Nico.
What happened? It's shiny.
The priest at Montfaucon buffed it up for me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, looks as good as new.
No, you found a use for a priest. That's incredible.
What does that mean? It's kind of an underhanded comment about priests. Anyways, so we took
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
One more look at the manuscript, just for the hell of it. Because now the chalice, and we have found the knight, and the chalice now revealed another clue to us. And revealed that clue about the church. Here's the lens we've already used.
That's the lens I found on Klausner's body in the bull's head.
That is true. And then the statue.
That's the face of the statue I saw at the bull's head.
That is true. We can still talk about the woman looking at her face.
That's the clue that led me to the statue of Baphomet and the reflection in the chalice.
The reflection of the chalice. That's why the reflection in the mirror. That's why you were supposed to use the chalice. It reflected the mosaic. Then the loom was obviously Spain.
That's the clue that led me to Spain.
And then the bull's head is obviously the bull's head in Syria.
That's the clue that led me to the bull's head in Syria.
So we've seen all the clues now. The gem.
That's the gem that Pegram found in Lochmarn.
The tripod.
That's the tripod we borrowed from the museum.
Yeah, you didn't really borrow it, but... And then, the statue in Syria.
That's the face of the statue I saw at the...
Yeah, we already did that. And the lens. We've kind of cracked all the clues on this manuscript. So what on earth could be left? Well, let's think about it. Image of a church. What could it mean? Britain. What's that thing about Caesar's the Caesar's word about the edge of the world to the west? Why Britain? Why a church? The burning man in the that we saw with the lens. 1314. What's that all about? So, what's the time? Almost up to the hour. I think I'll end it here. Although
I guess I'd better return the chalice to the Countess.
Oh,
Hurry back, Georges.
we're gonna go back to Spain to return the chalice, and obviously we found the knight and the Bible Psalms as well. Like, what's that all about? What could the clues about the knight be? So, before we leave for Spain, I want to do one more thing. I'm going to give the police the last chance to cooperate. I want to go and see if Rosso is there. Rosso is there. But there's some other guy here. Who's this?
The policeman was not much older than me. His face wore an expression of intense concentration.
Shall we talk to him? Rosso, we have so many clues that we can share with you.
Excuse me.
If only you wanted to help us.
Not so fast. I'd like your personal details, please.
Huh? What for?
In the event of an accident, it would help us to know where to send the body.
Look, is this really necessary? I came in here to talk to Rosso.
Why did you not say?
Why did you not say? Where is Inspector Moo?
Where's Sergeant Moo?
Sergeant Moo? You haven't heard?
Heard what? Has something happened to him?
Moo is dead.
You're kidding.
No, monsieur.
That's... How? Why?
The death of a policeman never comes as a surprise, but always as a shock.
But Sergeant Moo? He was so...
I know. He was as flexible as a riot baton. Yet his heart was as warm as a freshly extracted urine sample.
What kind of saying is that? But Moo's dead? How's that possible? Does this guy know who Khan is? Shall we show him
Do
the
you
picture?
recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur, I do not. I have no memory for faces.
I see. Do you know about this chalice here?
Do you know anything about medieval communion cups?
No, monsieur. I was a duffer at school when it came to history.
We can still ask about the clown. We obviously know it's Khan. But...
Have you had any reports concerning a suspicious clown?
Why, yes. There was a fracas only this morning. 3 arrests for public disorder.
And you say there was a clown involved?
A clown and a particularly offensive piece of sculpture with balloons. Are you in any way involved with the reprobate, monsieur?
No, not me.
Shall we ask about Rosso?
May I see Inspector Rosso?
I'm sorry, but he gave me orders not to disturb him, monsieur.
Why? Let's try again.
Do you know anything about Rosso's psychic techniques?
I cannot comment on my superior's methods. All I will say is that Inspector Rosso has an impressive record.
He's a good detective?
One of the best. He's a man of honor, with a fine sense of duty.
You wouldn't say he was... a screwball?
Not to his face, monsieur.
Moo is dead? How is that possible?
Thanks for your help, officer.
Such a sad thing. Anyways, so let's leave the police station. Rosso won't talk to us, and Moo is dead. And it's like, oh, that's just sad. This was just a sad trip to the police station. But I'll end it here. Because, I'll go to the... Do I go to the airport first? And I'll go to Spain, and I'll end it here. We're going to Villa de Vasconcelos to return the chalice. And then after that, next episode, I will continue. Let's just leave the country and go to Spain. We're already just walking inside.
I'd been planning to return the chalice anyway.
Yeah.
But I hadn't expected the trail to bring me here. The Villa de Vasconcelos was as picturesque as ever. The weather was still clear, and Lopez was still watering the damn lawn. I was beginning to suspect that he was surgically attached to that hose.
Oh, he's going straight up to Lopez to talk to him. Okay, let's talk to Lopez.
Hi there, Lopez. How's tricks?
How's tricks?
Senor Stobart, how pleasant to see you. You are well.
Fine, thanks. Is the Countess in?
She is waiting for you. I will show you up.
It's okay, I know the way.
Senor Stobart, I feel I owe you an apology.
No, you don't.
I was impolite on our first meeting.
Look, Lopez, just forget about it. I came on like a snake oil merchant. I wouldn't have trusted me in your shoes.
You do not understand. Finding the chalice has given my lady a new lease of life. It's a marvel. She smiles, she laughs. The tradesmen are saying that she is on Prozac.
Interesting comment there. All right, so we're back in Spain, and we're going to return the chalice, but there's something still... There's still a mystery with that Spanish knight, because we found him in Paris, but what's all the biblical, references about? What's that all about? Why did the chalice work there in France for that certain place where the Baphomet statue was, to reveal this image of a church? And the knight with the scroll, the lens was meant to use. We were meant to use the lens with that knight, that Spanish knight, that revealed the clue in the stained glass with the burning man and the date 1314. These clues are all gonna connect soon. So I'll end it here. Save. That's the end. This is the end of the episode 9, and tune in. The end will come soon. I don't know. Well, I mean, do you think will I end this in the next episode? Maybe it depends on the time. But so, like I said, we have Spain left, and then who knows what will happen. So please stay tuned for more episodes of Broken Sword: The Shadow of the Templars walk through and review. We're getting there. This will all make sense in the end, and we'll have a solution on what this all leads, what the manuscript is pointing at. Where is the sword of Baphomet? What is it? Etc. etc. All right. Double save? Sure, why not? Always double save these days. All right, you guys take care. Thanks for watching. See ya. Bye bye.